John had been battling anxiety and stress for years. He had tried countless therapies and medications, but nothing seemed to bring him the peace of mind he craved. That was until one day, while on a walk in his neighborhood, he stumbled upon a beautiful garden that would change his life forever. The garden was unlike any John had ever seen. It was a colorful oasis of life in the midst of the busy city. Lush green plants, vibrant flowers, and the sound of trickling water from a small fountain in the center of the garden all contributed to a sense of tranquility that immediately put John at ease. As he walked among the plants, he noticed an older man tending to the garden with care and attention. The man was wearing a straw hat, and his clothes were stained with soil. He looked up and smiled at John, inviting him to come closer and take a look at the flowers. The two men struck up a conversation, and John quickly learned that the older man had been tending to the garden for many years. He had transformed what was once a desolate piece of land into a thriving garden of life. John was intrigued by the man's passion and dedication to the garden, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of calm wash over him as he walked around the garden. The older man noticed John's interest and offered to teach him how to tend to the plants. At first, John was hesitant. He had never been much of a gardener, and the idea of getting his hands dirty didn't seem all that appealing. But something about the garden had captured his heart, and he found himself wanting to learn more. Over the next few weeks, John spent every spare moment he had in the garden. The older man taught him how to plant, water, and care for the different types of plants in the garden. He showed him how to prune, weed, and fertilize the soil, and how to make sure that the plants had everything they needed to thrive. As John spent more time in the garden, he began to notice a change in himself. The anxiety and stress that had plagued him for years seemed to fade away, replaced by a sense of peace and contentment. He realized that just like the plants in the garden, life too needed care and attention to thrive. He started to take better care of himself, eating healthier, exercising more, and spending more time doing the things he loved. The garden became a place of refuge for John. Whenever he felt overwhelmed or stressed, he would head to the garden and spend time tending to the plants. It was a place where he could disconnect from the outside world and focus on the simple pleasures of life. As the seasons changed, so did the garden. John watched in awe as the plants grew and changed, each one more beautiful than the last. The colors, scents, and textures of the plants became a source of inspiration for John, and he started to see the world in a whole new light. One day, as John was tending to the garden, the older man approached him with a small package. Inside was a handful of seeds and a note that read, "Take these seeds and plant them with care. They are the seeds of life, and with patience and attention they will grow into something beautiful." John was moved by the gesture and took the seeds home with him. He planted them in his own garden, and as he tended to them with care, he couldn't help but feel grateful for the lessons he had learned in the garden of life. After several weeks of hard work, John's garden had begun to flourish. The flowers bloomed in vibrant colors, the trees grew tall and strong, and the vegetables and fruits were ripe for harvest. As John spent more time in the garden, he noticed that his anxiety and stress levels began to decrease. The rhythmic sound of the wind rustling through the leaves and the sweet fragrance of the blooming flowers had a calming effect on him. John began to realize that the garden was not just a source of beauty, but also a source of peace and comfort. It was a reminder that with patience, care, and dedication, he could create something beautiful and valuable out of the chaos and disorder of life. The garden had become a symbol of hope and resilience, inspiring John to push through his struggles and work towards a better future. As the summer came to an end, John had become an expert gardener. He had learned to identify the different types of plants and understand their needs. He had also become more in tune with nature and had developed a deep appreciation for its beauty and importance. John's garden had become a sanctuary, not just for him but for his friends and family as well. They would often come over to enjoy the beautiful scenery and the fresh produce from the garden. John had also started a blog where he shared his gardening experiences and tips with others who were struggling with anxiety and stress. Through the garden, John had found a new purpose in life. He had discovered a passion for gardening and had used it to overcome his struggles and help others. The garden had taught him that even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, there was always a way to find beauty, peace, and happiness. In the end, John realized that the garden of life was not just about tending to plants, but about tending to oneself and others. It was about nurturing relationships, taking care of oneself, and finding joy and meaning in the simple things. And just like a garden, life too could be beautiful and peaceful if we put in the effort and dedication to make it so. In conclusion, John's journey with his garden has taught us all a valuable lesson. Life can be overwhelming and chaotic, but if we take the time to nurture it and tend to it, we can create something beautiful out of the mess. Just like a garden, our lives require patience, care, and dedication to grow and flourish. John's story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. Through his passion for gardening, he was able to find solace and peace, and even help others who were struggling with similar issues. We hope that this story has inspired you to find your own garden of life and tend to it with love and care. Remember, it's the small things that often make the biggest impact, and sometimes all it takes is a little bit of effort and dedication to make a big difference in our lives. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories like this.